Phone reviews have honestly become kind of routine for me. First, I switch to the device entirely. Then I use it as my daily driver for anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, maintaining a Google Doc where I jot down anything about it that pissed me off. Finally, when it's time to actually write the review, I sit down with my list of annoyances, cross off all the ones that were resolved either through software updates or experience, and then create the script that I will eventually read to you like this. Well, the Galaxy Note 9 is bunging up my formula here because this is all I got. So let's see if we can pad that out into 7 minutes or so. PUBG Mobile is a free-to-play battle royale game for Android and iOS. Join the over 100 million players currently playing PUBG Mobile by downloading at the link in the video description. I covered most of the surface level stuff about the Note 9 in my Unpacked video, but now that I've spent some more time with it, I have some thoughts to add. Ergonomically, the boxier shape of the Note 9 compared to the S9 Plus that I've been using as my daily driver has been an adjustment, as has the additional weight. But one of the most meaningful tweaks that Samsung made to the form factor was widening the bezels. This results in a slightly worse screen-to-bezel ratio, which is a risky move at a time when competitors like Oppo are going as far as to put in motorized camera mechanisms so they can keep pushing the envelope. But from a usability standpoint, it's been a noticeable improvement, especially when reaching across the screen. The other ergonomic standout to me is the Bixby button. Now, I assumed that there would be first-party support for disabling it again, but for some reason, Samsung, as of the time we're recording this, has removed that option. Overall though, I don't actually hate Bixby. She runs locally on the device, which means that on top of the additional functionality that other assistants can't handle, like executing voice macros, she is noticeably faster for transactional things like turn on the flashlight. But that's a double-edged sword, because compared to the Google Assistant, which runs in the cloud, Bixby is still, over a year later, far less likely to understand me. The fingerprint sensor has been moved into the center, just like on the S9 series, but I actually didn't notice it that much since I ended up using Intelligent Scan, Samsung's unique combination of iris scanning and facial recognition most of the time anyway. So now we're at the part of the video where usually I list out a bunch of specs, but it's a little bit complicated this time. Which processor you get under the hood of your Note 9 will actually depend on your region. Now the good news is that it doesn't actually matter too much. We only got one, so we couldn't do a head-to-head comparison, but basically, the Snapdragon 845's Adreno GPU is stronger if you're a gamer, while Samsung's internal tuning of the Exynos 9810 CPU seems to give it the edge on that side of things. Honestly though, we're kind of splitting hairs at this point, and Samsung knows it. They hardly even talked about performance in their keynote, because phones have basically succumbed to the same failing of Moore's Law that we've been dealing with on the PC side for the last 5 years now. So whether you're running a Note 9 or a OnePlus 6 for literally half the price, you can expect basically the same performance in your pocket, at least from idle. Now the water cooling marketing nonsense aside, the big heat pipe that Samsung is using in the Note 9 does actually result in relatively little throttling, even in CPU-intensive tasks. And that, I think right there, is the most remarkable thing about the Note 9. Not the heat pipe specifically, but the fact that it's bigger than yours, and they managed to squeeze that, the S Pen, the 4,000 milliamp hour battery that's big enough that even with the weird battery drain bug that I get sometimes, I still managed to make it through the day. They crammed basically everything into this phone. Other notable inclusions, up to 8 gigs of LPDDR4 memory, that's in the 512 gig storage version, IP68 water resistance, NFC, high-speed wireless charging, micro SD expansion, a headphone jack, and stereo speakers. Samsung, by the way, with their spectacular HDR OLED displays and flexible audio connectivity, continues to deliver, hands down, the best mobile movie watching experience. So here's the thing. almost always when I'm working on a phone review because I actually switch to them as my only phone. I wish that I had the form factor of phone X with the features of phone Y and the camera of phone Z or something along those lines. Most recently, I was actually working on my full review of the Oppo Find X, and I was crestfallen when I realized that it doesn't have NFC. I mean, that's apparently not a big deal in China, but I use NFC for two-factor authentication on a very regular basis. So it was a real bummer for me. And back to the Note 9, the camera hasn't changed much since the S9 series, but that's not really a terrible thing. Its low light performance is still outstanding, and everything from well-lit indoor stills to more challenging scenarios like poorly lit video came out as well as I would expect from any flagship smartphone today. As for the new Bluetooth-enabled S Pen, as not really a stylus guy, it's mostly a handy little bonus. You can write on the screen even when it's off. I guess that's pretty cool. But I mostly didn't find many occasions to use it, even including the remote camera shutter functionality. With that said, I expect some really cool things to come out of the S Pen once the SDK lands. Until then, assuming that you can afford one, because it's not cheap, the Note 9 is gonna have to settle for being just the zero compromises smartphone, a designation that I have never given to any other handheld. Thanks to PUBG Mobile for sponsoring today's video. PUBG Mobile is the official mobile version of the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's a free-to-play battle royale game available for Android and iOS, where 100 players parachute onto a remote island for a winner-takes-all showdown. It's powered by the Unreal Engine, it features intuitive and customizable controls, it's got HD audio, and more. So try out other PUBG arcade modes like War Mode, Mini Zone, and Quick Matches by downloading it today at the link in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button, but if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. That is assuming that you are a mad baller. Also down there is our merch store. That's right, that's down there, which has shirts like, I think, this one. Yep. And our community forum, and you should totally join that.